Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Something Super Spiritual. I have one of my newest, bestest friends with us today, Anthony Mikolojeski.
Hey.
And welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for inviting me back. This has been awesome, and am humbled and excited to be here.
Well, thank you. We have a lot of fun things to talk about today because you have been so busy this summer in Lilydale, of all places.
Yeah.
And it's on my list. I have never been there, and I expect to get there sooner than later. But yeah, I'm thrilled that you are becoming that in Lilydale. I just think it's awesome.
Well, it's my first year that I was presenting, and so I feel very humbled and honored to be teaching there. Lilydale is a spiritualist community that's been there for almost 150 years. And anyhow, we had our conference there, which Susan Barnes was the creator of. And so I was working alongside my colleagues, and we had 5 full amazing days of classes, and everybody loved it and screamed that they said they had a great time, and
I'm sure.
making wonderful connections and learning everything that they wanted to learn. So, I mean, what else can you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. So you guys, if you haven't realized by now, Anthony is an amazing psychic medium. He's a teacher. He just has been teaching for 5 days in Lilydale. And Anthony he joined me a few months ago on the podcast. And we had a really, really beautiful conversation for the podcast listeners as well. So that's why I wanted you back. So,
well, thank you. Yeah. We had a great conversation. We had fun.
Definitely. And so tell everybody just real quickly for those that don't know you yet, who you are, where you're from, how you became from, being a fabulous hairdresser to a fabulous psychic medium in Lilydale.
All right. Well, it's really the crash course story here. Yeah, I go as the Asheville medium. I am here in the Asheville area in the western mountains of North Carolina. And I've been here for 21 years. And so yeah, I have my office here. I do phone readings, Zoom readings, and private sittings. I also do group readings, and I also do audiences where I demonstrate mediumship on platform and deliver messages to the audience. So I do a lot of that. And I also do animal communication. So that's with animals in spirit, and then also animals here in the physical world.
Amazing.
And let's see, I have my sound healing certification. So I'm, been working with that and incorporating that in my classes and meditations and my mediumship circles, which I hold here at my home. And anyway, I have had spiritual experiences since I was a child, and visitations. And a long story short, I went into the hair field, and I guess I reached my pinnacle in the hair industry, and worked with wonderful colleagues for many years. And we did hair shows and platform work, and we did all kinds of stuff. And through that process, the spirit world was trying to get in touch with me. The information that I was receiving from my clients, loved ones in spirit, and I was getting these downloads of information. And I think, when you're working above the client, you're getting above that crown chakra.
Yeah.
It was just all coming up, and I wouldn't share anything with them about it. And then within moments, they would be telling me the information that I had downloaded just like, 10 minutes ago. And of course, here I am doing foils, and my mouth is open, and you're just like, oh my gosh, how did I know this? I mean, how am I getting this information? And
Oh,
then,
that's amazing.
yeah, it was. And, with new clients, I was getting personal information that there's no way I would know anything about them. And yet they would deliver that within a 2.5 hour appointment. And again, reiterating what I heard earlier. So I just did a lot of research. I started taking some classes slowly. Um, I had a reading by a medium, and I didn't even know what a medium was at that time. I just thought she was psychic and medium are the same thing, which they're not.
Hmm.
But she just said to me, she says, "Well, Anthony, you're a medium and you don't even know who you are." And I says, "Well, what does that mean?" And she says, "Well, you know, the Spirit's trying to tell me that you need to be doing this work." And I was like, "No way. I am not going to be sitting across from clients doing readings." And it wasn't until like maybe, 10 years later, because I didn't listen, that another psychic medium that I went to, I was having some personal decisions of what to do in my career. And that came out again, that you're a medium and you're destined to do this. This is what you have to do, and you're going to do it real soon. So there was this whole reality thing, and a different awareness. And as I started taking more classes, um, I started to notice that the hair wasn't fulfilling me anymore as it
Yeah.
used to.
Hmm.
And the instructors were telling me that I should be doing this full time. And I started taking, more advanced classes with more advanced tutors such as Tony Stockwell and
Yeah.
Mavis Attila and
Yeah.
um, Simone Key. And I ended up at Arthur Findlay College and took courses there. And that's in England. It's a college for advanced psychic science and mediumship. And people that go to study mediumship seriously go there.
Hmm.
So that took me there. And I still was not, I still was kind of having an epiphany of whether this is what I need to do. And I think it's normal for us as um, mediums, when we go through that stage, we're kind of building our confidence, trying to figure out
Oh,
how we work and also who we are.
totally.
There's kind of like the shock of realization. Am I really a medium?
Oh my God. Yes.
And then accepting that information, it takes time to accept it. It's like,
Oh, it,
it's like
it
a
does.
coming out.
It's true. I opened up in 2006 when I became attuned to the Reiki. And when I was doing Reiki treatments with people, suddenly their loved ones were with us. And I was delivering spontaneous evidential mediumship before I even knew what was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it took me about 5 years of doing that and having those experiences and opening up even more and recognizing the clairs, the clairvoyance, the clairsentience, all of it. It took me 5 years to buy into the fact that I literally am a medium. Like I thought I must have been just a good guesser. No, I'm not a medium. I'm just a good guesser. And yeah, but it took 5 years.
I would say it took me equally the same.
Yeah.
And it was and then you have, the next step is by telling everyone where you're going, and that whole there's going to be family members and friends who will stand by you, and then you're going to realize who your real friends are.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. And people are going to either quickly disappear or slowly and quietly disappear.
Right, right. Or they're going to embrace you.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had
Mhm.
many people. I grew up in a very small town in a rural area, and I can't begin to tell you the amount of people from that particular part of Michigan. I grew up in Posen, Michigan, which is a um, Polish and German community primarily, and it's very rural farming area. And my parents had a bar and restaurant business. And so, we got to know all the locals, and they're just amazing people. And I got to really appreciate, coming from the city and then moving back to the country and then moving back to the city after I got into my early 20s. I get to appreciate the hard work that these people do as farmers, and understand their daily, their daily lives. And it was great for me to see that and to experience that again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very Catholic and very conservative, as a majority, and so. But I was really surprised at how many people from that area have supported me. That I went to high school and college with, and I've given readings to. But I won't tell who, because that would be it's very private.
Yes. This work comes with very high standards of ethics.
It sure does, and responsibility.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's amazing. Like, you got the ping from that first psychic that says this is the work you're supposed to do, and you're like, yeah, no. And then you get the ping another time. How many years later? 10 years later, you get that ping, and suddenly you're starting to feel the shift on your insides, where suddenly you're not fulfilled. Like,
yes. Let's see here. Something happened here. We went out. Are you there? You're on the show. What happened?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes. I was wondering if it was me or if it was you.
Surprise! Oh my gosh. Well, that's a first. I haven't seen that happen.
Well, maybe it was spirit that did it. I do have some physical mediumship.
I like what's going on. Yeah, spirit, absolutely. Oh my God, that is so funny. I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, I was talking about how when spirit comes through and you start to recognize the shift, and when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, and suddenly here come your teachers. You're starting to figure it out. You're like starting to resonate with it, and just one thing after another. That's how it happens with us.
Yeah, you're being guided.
And absolutely, 100%. Speaking of guided, we're going to talk about spirit guides today too. Brilliant. And that's your guides literally in action when all of that, we're being led in this direction. And it's, it's like that with every single one of us. Every single person here watching us today, watching us in the future, is experiencing that awakening. And we're all at this certain level of evolution, development, unfoldment, wherever we might be, and not all of us are supposed to be sitting here on YouTube, but all of us are supposed to be waking up to our true divinity and the truth and who we are. And I just think it's just, I love to have this conversation with all of us. Those of us that are doing this work, and people who are just spiritually active, and they run with a spiritual awareness through their daily life. And it's just to have this conversation with everybody is just so exciting to me.
Yeah. I have to add to that, I was a very analytical person in my mind, like kind of racing all the time. Multitasking, having my business, having employees, so on and so forth. And I think there was a point where when I started doing mediumship, I started to surrender and trust that I'm being guided, and that there's a higher power of that is in charge, and that we are just, part of that experience.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to sit on the sofa and eat bonbons and do nothing, and think that your spirit guides and the higher consciousness is going to take care of you. You do have to, you're given the gift to take care of yourself and to have ambition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, there's action required. We're here to take part in this temporary life that this physical being is in for this 80 years or however many. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And we have to meet spirit halfway. We have to, our feet are the ones that are meeting this pavement, the physical feet. So we have to take action. Yeah, I love that. Let's say hello to everybody. Okay, so Michael Christopher, hi there. Eleanor, hi. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we lost Jeff, she says. Yes, I'm back. That was very exciting. Keith, hi, Keith. Thank you for reminding everybody to hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you for being here. Hi, Susan Funes, Lori, Susan, we'll get to you guys. We're going to do readings in a little bit. So if you have questions from your spirit guides, guardians, angels, loved ones, please put it in the comments here in capital letters. It's just easier for us to catch it. Hi, Ness, Cheyenne, Susan Brochin. Hi, darling.
Michael says he can't surrender any further. That's a good one. I like that one. That's very funny.
Look, Eleanor says she got to meet you in Lilydale.
Yes, we did. We finally got a chance to meet. We were on Facebook as friends, and we have similar, friends that we have in common. And we finally met each other, and she is absolutely lovely. And I met 3 of her other friends that she was with, and we just hung out for a bit, and they were there for a few days. And it was just awesome. Thank you so much for connecting with me. I had a great time with all of you.
Yeah. Shaughnessy, hi. Alice, Eveline, hi, Eveline. Alicia. Bonnie, if you're still here, please let me know, because like I said, we're going to come to you first. You put the first message here like 25 minutes before we even started. So we're definitely going to come to you first. So just let me know you're still here. And have I missed anybody? Oh, there's Evan. Hi, honey. Hi, Alice, Cheyenne. Anthony.
Yes.
Talk about spirit guides.
Well, how I explain it to my clients when they ask me is that we have primarily one major spirit guide that we have when we incarnate into this world. And I consider that spirit guide like your principal. That spirit guide will know everything about you, understand your feelings, your ideas, all your thoughts, your likes and dislikes. They know everything, or I should say, that spirit guide would know everything about you inside and out. And I would call that the principal spirit guide. And then there's other spirit guides that I call the teachers. So you have the principal, and then you have the teachers. And the teachers can come in at various times. They may be there for a couple years. They may be there for 10 years. But they're helping you to get through your lessons in life that you need to learn as a soul. And so they come and go. And some of them stay longer than others. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see, is the spirit guide female or male? It can present itself with a female presence or a male presence, but sometimes it's both. I've gotten information from a spirit guide that I didn't feel it was either male or female. I felt it was kind of generic. There's been times I have received information where they didn't really give me any of that information at all. It was just really a light being, which was really beautiful. All of it's beautiful, regardless of how they present themselves. Some of them have lived on the earth in the physical world, and then in the spirit world have decided to be spirit guides, but not all. So it really varies. Some of them have been, sometimes you can get a relative in your family who has passed before you were born and who is your spirit guide. Or there might be a loved one who works with your spirit guide. So they may come in together. That's happened with me. I've had Native Americans come in. Just last week, I had 2 Native American spirit guides come in for the first time out of all this time I've been doing mediumship. So that was something for me to learn coming from spirit, to receive that type of information in detail. And the clients could totally relate to it because they were very much, in both of them who didn't know each other, were very much engulfed into the Lakota Indian, ceremonies and traditions.
Awesome.
And that was such a big exposure to them in their lives. Throughout their whole life, they've been part of this. How would I say, spiritual nature of Native American.
Sure.
So just interesting.
Michael Christopher says he loves this explanation, and I do too. It's so I like how you called the principal, the one that's with us from birth. I love that. I call him my manager.
The manager.
Yeah. He's absolutely my manager. And then the others, that come and go in the different phases of life, or the different phases of learning that we're in, and the different decades, and depending whatever we're working through in that phase of life.
Yeah, in the Earth School, right?
Totally. Yeah.
That's what they call it. This is our school,
Yeah.
and this is not our home. So when we transition to the spirit world, that's our home. And that's really an interesting way of looking at it if you've never heard it that way, because it changes the way you think of things.
Yeah.
And it changes the way you think of of death, which actually death really never happens. It's just a physical death of your physical body, but your soul and consciousness and that loving consciousness still continues, just in a different dimension.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. And I love too how you mentioned I just had these thoughts go through my head about my experiences with my own guides. We had talked right before you started, and a lot of times people will come to us and ask, can you tell me my spirit guide's name? And that is not anything that I will ever pass on, because for me, that relationship is off. It's so intimate. This is a very, very close connection. And so I'll teach you how to get your spirit guide's name, if they're going to give you a name. And sometimes they're just that energetic force that you sense and feel, but you just might want to call Bob, just because we're human beings with an ego, and that's how we identify, by calling each other a name. You know what I'm saying? So if you just want to call your energetic support Bob, that's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think, as humans, we demand an answer from the spirit world. Like I demand that you give me your name, and they don't necessarily have to give you the name. That is really up to them. They're more in control of it than you are.
Yeah.
So if they don't give you a name, it's not really a big deal. It's really about hearing and receiving the information yourself. You can go within in a meditation and connect with them, which is a great way of connecting with your spirit guide.
Yeah.
And I myself, and I'm sure you're the same way, Jeffrey, that you have to build a connection and a relationship with the spirit world on a daily basis.
Totally.
As a medium. And I would say this to my viewers, the more that you are just, you don't have to go into meditation to really connect with the spirit world. You can, go into your thought and just say, I'm so grateful for everything that I've learned. And I'm grateful for my beautiful days, to my spirit team. That would
Yeah.
be the principal, my other teachers in the spirit team, and say, what is it that you have to show me, or what is it that you would like me to learn next, or what is the answer to why I'm experiencing this? And
Yes.
usually the answer will come.
Oh yeah.
It's sometimes it's revealed to you, or if you lose your keys, and you say to yourself, you say, "Oh, spirit world, I lost my keys. Help me find my keys." They will help you find your keys. Somehow you'll stumble across them within a short period of time of asking. But the more that you trust in it, the more confidence that you have with the spirit world, the more they're going to work with you.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Because the intention is there, you see.
Well, definitely. And I love what you said too, because that's how I teach as well. We want to open an open-ended dialogue with spirit and keep that dialogue going every day, over, even if it's just something silly, like, oh, it's a cold day. It's a cold day. I got to go get my hoodie, spirit. Or, I really loved running into that nice lady yesterday. She made me feel so good. It was really nice to see her. Thank you for that opportunity. And that opportunity to be reminded that, it just takes a smile sometime to turn somebody's day around, or just, little conversations about, where you are, what you're doing, what you're thinking. If you're upset about something, be upset about something and say, you know what, that was difficult. And I didn't like it so much. So what do I need to learn more? What am I missing here?
Right.
And it's having these conversations with your spirit team, your guides, your guardians, like Anthony said, your loved ones want to be part of your team too. And sometimes they are, and it's a very normal thing. Why wouldn't they want to be? We're part of each other's team here. I would want to be, my partner's teammate from the other side if I left today,
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. And also another thing that to be reminded of is to not take it so seriously, to really be playful about it, and be, have that childlike wonder and that childlike awe, because this connection with spirit, this divinity that lies within us and without us, and is so important, and it's like the first and foremost thing in who we are as a being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more we start to recognize that and understand that, these moments of lessons that we get from the guides, they just start to ping us, and we start to recognize those pings because we understand that that connection, we start to feel those pings, and we recognize the synchronicities. Even if it's angel numbers, I mean, that's how they ping us, repeating numbers over and over.
Yes.
Or seeing a certain phrase over and over.
Or feathers.
Or yeah, absolutely.
Or coins. You're finding coins everywhere you go,
Yeah.
It's really amazing. Or they can communicate through another animal, through a bird or a specific animal. It's really the interaction has to be very unusual to get your attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing about the spirit world, is they have their own way of communicating with us to get our attention. And usually they're pretty aha moments, to break our train of thought, or our things that we have to do through the day, chores through the day. They'll break it, and you'll stop in your tracks and go, oh my gosh, like, did you see that bird interact with me? That was just so strange. Or that butterfly, or everywhere I step, I'm seeing feathers. I go to the grocery store and there's a feather on the cart, and you get out back into your car, and as you get in the car, there's a feather. I mean, it's just, it shows up in the most unusual places.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, a feather on the inside of your car, like it was it was on my driver's seat years ago, and this was during a period of high level stress, high level anxiety. It was one of those points in life that is, shifting, and where you're just not sure what's next and what am I doing and where am I going. And I was talking to Spirit, and I'd gotten out of the car to go into the store, and I came back and there was a white feather on my driver's seat.
Wow.
Right. So that was me. Wow. Total wow. Trying to process this logically or rationally. And like, how did that feather get there? Like, did that really just materialize, or how did it get there? And it's very easy for us in this human stage to logically override, and suddenly it was in my head. Oh, I must have been getting out of the car and a feather must have fallen right at the right time, right as I closed the door, trying to make it not a big deal.
Right.
But then I was like, no, this is a really big deal.
Right. Trying to make it fit.
Totally.
So that sounds logical.
Yes.
Yeah. So usually with the spirit world, you can't try to make logic out of it. And that's when you get the aha moment. And there's always a message, or, there's a message that they're trying to say to you. Maybe it's a loved one that you were thinking about that morning, or maybe the day before, and they were around you, and that's why they're getting your attention, is to show their affection, their love, and to give you comfort that they're watching and they're very much involved in your life, more than you think.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mary says, walking my fur baby the other day, and she stopped at a white feather. Right before that, when we walked out the door, there was a big blue butterfly on my doormat at the door as soon as I opened it.
Wow. Wow. Usually when I throw out examples like this, I always get my examples always end up being somebody's truth or somebody's experience. And it's, when you're not thinking about mediumship, sometimes it just happens. But yeah.
True.
And I saw that there's a few people there that I noticed. There's Mari who's on. Hello, Mari. And I saw Lori there. Hello, Lori. And
Lori Mahala. Yep.
Yeah. And who else was here? Oh, thank you, Lori. She says I'm a great teacher. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I don't know who else was here. There's someone here. Let's see. Let's not use the mouse.
Gail Wozniak.
Yeah, Gail. Gail's from my area of Posen, Michigan. What we were talking about earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hi, Gail.
That's awesome.
To join us. Yeah. Say there. There you go.
Yeah. We were just talking about people from Old Town, hometown.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you for being here, Gail.
Yes.
And Jade says, I was once listening to a podcast about signs from spirit, and I walked outside, and literally a blue jay feather was lying on the sidewalk in front of me.
Wow. That's really beautiful. Those are unusual feathers to get.
Yeah.
I have, at first I thought I lost you. I got quiet.
Oh, no, I was looking. I was multitasking. Sorry. I was trying to catch the comments here.
I was like, oh no, did I lose them again? I got quiet. There was just a quiet moment, but that's funny. I don't know about you. Do you get feathers from strange people all the time that hand you feathers? Have you had that experience?
I have had that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have people hand me feathers all the time. I had a demonstration last November here locally in Hendersonville, and I had a lady come up to me and she says, my spirit guide told me that you don't have a white feather out of all the feathers you have in your room. And I was like, how do you know this? That's the truth. And my mouth was like, and I says, well, thank you. That's so sweet. And so I have my white feather up there. I have a good portion of them up there. Not all of them. There's just too many at this point. But I was so appreciative. I have a white feather now. And she came in for a reading probably about a month ago. And I said, there's your white feather, anyway.
That's so beautiful.
It was really special.
Somebody who wrote in the comments somewhere about loving that big, beautiful crystal behind you.
Oh, that little thing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
The amethyst?
And Gail, Gail says, yesterday I put some clothes on the line and there was a dead bird on the ground.
Oh, no.
That's an opportunity to bless it on
Yes.
its merry way into the spirit world.
Yes, absolutely.
Cheyenne says she's definitely found feathers in different places, one even being at her grandmother's gravestone.
Oh, wow.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Eleanor, oops, I'll come back to you. Eleanor says, I was going to take a walk and I kept feeling to just wait when I felt that it was time to go out and a hawk flew by. Yes, I had to laugh. I know that was a guide telling me to wait. Totally. And, you know, I love the hawk medicine because the hawk is the messenger for spirit. And well, one of the messengers, but that I see the hawk as the messenger of spirit. So yeah, that's beautiful.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And given wings. Walking my dog the other day and noticed something spinning down from the sky. Thought it was a whirligig from a tree. Just as it landed on the ground, as I got to it, it was a small white feather.
Oh, how beautiful. Wow. That's definitely someone in spirit saying hello.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about all these stories? Thank you guys for participating and putting this in the chats during this conversation. This is one of my favorite things, is to this exchange between us here with me and Anthony and you guys. I just love it. But what I love about all of these messages that you're speaking of, you know, so easily logically overwritten as a coincidence. And when we walk with this awareness of spirit and this open dialogue with spirit, like we expect to receive synchronicities, and this is how spirit communicates with us in all these different ways. It's just awesome. It's awesome, and I love it.
Yeah, it's super. It's just beautiful, actually. Mm-hmm. And the more that you start to take notice, I know you have to totally, you know, simulate, you know, the same experiences, but the more that you open up, Jeffrey, don't you think the more you're aware of it, it seems to be like, it seems to come to you even more, because the more that you're aware, the more that you notice, you know, and you start noticing not just subtleties from spirit, but you start noticing the subtleties of the beauty in the world. You start looking at flowers and you start listening to the birds and you start feeling the wind, and you start to feel the earth, you know.
Totally. In a much different, deeper way. Yeah. Like a much more intimate kind of way. Like what you were just talking about. Yesterday, I have this new potted plant hanging on my back patio that is a fuchsia. And I don't know if you know what the fuchsia is, but those flowers are the most beautiful, purpley, fuchsia-y, well, fuchsia and purple, you know. And I was looking at it so closely and so detailed. Like you were talking about feeling the air and smelling the air in such a deeper and more connected way. It's very true, because when you think about how we communicate with spirit, with the clairs, we're in that very, very deep connection where the subtleties are so subtle that, you know, if we weren't paying attention, we don't really sense them. But coming into the physical senses, you know, when we're seeing things at a much deeper level, the detail, feeling the wind blowing in a way that we might not have before. Yeah. It's all very much a part of recognizing the connection between spirit and the physical senses.
Yeah, it's a sense. It changes your whole sensory experience.
Yeah,
around you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
So should we get to some readings for people?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I think we should. Let's go to Bonnie. Bonnie, I hope you're still here. I saw that you were earlier. Bonnie asked at the very beginning, almost 30 minutes before we even started. Bonnie asks, what are the angels and guides saying about my son, James, for the month of August? His date of birth is 7/13/83. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Bonnie. Bonnie, just to be clear, this is your son. Your son James is still here with us, isn't that right?
Did you get a response yet?
Yeah. I talked to her as if he's here. I think he's here.
Yeah. Do you want to take it, or do you want me to take it?
Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead.
I really, the first thing that pops into my mind as I blend with his energy is there's two different opportunities coming up for the month of August. Isn't that what she said? The month of August?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's the first one that's been presented. So it's the first one that's the better choice or the better option. And also it's more in line with the way he follows his heart with what he wants to do. I feel that there could be also, I get there's a hesitance of him wanting to go forward for whatever reason. I just feel I think it's just confidence, a lack of confidence of wanting to make a choice and making the wrong choice, I think is what is going on up here. Coming from an analytical person as myself, I can understand.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Sure.
But yeah, and it's the second one presented itself afterwards, so I feel like the first one is the choice. That's like the best choice, and I hope that makes sense for her.
Yeah. I feel that as well. The first thing I feel when I tune into him is I feel the sense of anxiety, and I feel like a decision is needed to be made. I feel like there is an absolute shift happening. I know it feels like work to me. I know there's a move that's taking place, and if it's not a move with his work, it's a move like he's moving too. But anyway, I know there's a shift. There is a movement in some sort, and I know that there's anxiety about it, and I know that there is a struggle here about the whole thing, as if like he doesn't want to do it, but he knows he needs to. He wants to do it, but he's am I good enough? That kind of feeling, that confidence, like you were talking about, Anthony. Yeah, there is this absolute feeling, and I really want to encourage you. Like, one of the things that I keep hearing is like to try not to take it so seriously, to be more playful about it. And if this is a feeling of like some things that we are forced to choose, you know what I mean? We're at that where the universe pulls a rug and we have to make a decision. You know, it is a very important decision. I guess my point in describing this is I really want to encourage you to
it's about trusting.
Yes, as important as it is to trust that he can do it, and that not to take it so seriously, and to be playful about it, and to basically lift his vibe somehow. You know what I mean? Lift it to a higher frequency.
Yeah.
Because it like there is a feeling of real, like, I'm going to say it again, movement, but it feels like, you know, like when a dam has been plugged and the plug comes out and there's flow. That's what it feels like. It feels like a really good, necessary flow.
Yeah. And an educational lesson to trust. You know, there's a lot of lessons here for him to, and this is going to be great for him. Don't you feel it's going to be great? I feel it's going to be fabulous.
I absolutely feel like that. I
yeah,
feel for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'd say go for it. And sometimes jumping in with 2 feet and trusting to see where you land is, but this has been presented, this opportunity has been presented to him. So it's a great opportunity. That's all I can tell you.
Absolutely, Bonnie. Thank you. I really hope that resonates with you and you understand what it is that we're talking about. Let us know in the comments. Okay, I saw another one with all caps back here. Eveline. Eveline. Eveline asked, tomorrow I have to take an assessment test for a job. Will I do well and will I get the job?
Well, it's something that you've already familiarized yourself already. So there's some of the information that you already know. So part of it's yes. The other part of the test, to me, there must be some type of interview as well. That is going to be followed by this. And I think it's the ability to want to learn. It has to be coming from you, which it does.
Yeah.
I feel that whatever you're doing now, it's kind of routine, in your job, and you need this now to be stimulated and be challenged. So you're going in the right direction. And I also know too, there must be some connection with someone telling you about the job or someone there at the job that there's some kind of connection that's brought you to the job. So yeah, I think you're going to do well with it. It's just stand in the goodness of your heart and with your truth of
Yes.
what you do. And
yes.
And yeah, it's just they want to know. They also want to know who you are.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So yeah, so let that shine.
Yeah, that's you were saying everything that I was like wanting to throw out there. Yes, Eveline, be yourself. Just be you, and be your authentic self. Because there is this feeling that this assessment test, there's part of it where it feels more like a personality questionnaire. Part of it, you know what I'm saying? And there's also a part of it where I feel like that there is a newness to where you're headed, a newness to this particular role, let's call it. However, that being said, I can't help but feel you and your optimism and your warmth, your desire to learn, grow, excel, succeed. It's like all of that mixed with your warm heart and your smile and just your presence. There is going to, the stuff that you don't know, they know that they can teach you and that you can learn and that you can be, an A+ role in this particular job. But It's you. Yeah. It feels like it's just about you being you, your authentic self.
And she plays well with others, which is nice.
Totally.
Yeah. So I mean, why would they not hire you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you got to look at it.
Completely. Yeah. Eveline, you're amazing, and it feels really good for you. Thank you, Eveline. And you know what, Bonnie says, thank you guys. You're right on. My son had his heart transplant the first part of August. Has his heart transplant. That's it. Yeah. It is important. It is serious. It is, but to be, a little bit, just go into it childlike and playful and no, he's gonna be good.
I wanted to ask Bonnie, because you mentioned, Jeffrey, that it was something work related. I want to know, was there something when he was working that this took place that he realized that he had problems with the heart at the workplace? Because I just feel like there's something work connected with it, but I'm just curious. Because you mentioned that earlier.
I am curious about that. Yeah.
I do feel like there is something with the workplace connected to this situation of when it either first came on or I was working, and then I realized this, kind of like that.
Let us know in the comments, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw somebody else's back here. Let me see. It was right by Eleanor. Eleanor. Any guidance on my mediumship path?
Okay. All right, let me see. Wow. Okay. Well, the spirit guide definitely has more male energy to me. And no surprise, right, Eleanor? She does take the role of being, sometimes the man in the house, as well as the mom, or did the dad and the mom. I feel like she works both energies there in the household. And the directness that she always has. She's very direct. She's no nonsense, no gossip, none of that. She's not into. I want to get to the juice, get to the point, and let's I want to know where I stand here. That's what spirit guide says. It's really your spirit guide says really it's building your confidence level to trust that you need to be doing this. It's just going to take time. The more that you start taking classes, I think you'll have more confidence, is what I'm hearing, and you'll get to understand those little muscles that you're using on your brain when you're connecting with spirit, and you'll be trusting yourself more, because you'll know that feeling of when you're in the zone and when you're out of the zone more regularly. I hope that helps you on that level now. And also, I think you compare yourself too much, as what your spirit guide says, to others that are in mediumship or so. And it's really we all do that as humans. We really do. I have done it, and it does self-sabotage yourself to some degree. So it's really important to know that we all, as mediums, even some of us who are in the advanced level, we have been you. We have been, you at that time where we didn't have the confidence. So it really is an unfoldment, and give it time, and be patient with yourself, and just keep going at it, because he also wants to say your integrity is amazing. So your integrity and the intent behind why you want to work with spirit is at its highest, and that's all you need to just stay in your truth there. With that, you're going to do just fine. So I leave you with that.
Yeah, Eleanor, I second Anthony. The first thing that I heard as Anthony was talking was the trust, and that trust comes with continued development and continued practice, and that confidence starts to roll in when we are practicing, you know what I mean, and really just like experiencing one right after another, and after another, and after another. We start to develop the understanding of how we are connecting with spirit on our insides, how our clairvoyance works, how our clairaudience works, how our clairsentience works, how it all connects, and we're firing on all cylinders, all in a super flash, right? Mm-hmm. And through this development, we start to understand how it works on our insides, and we start to communicate it and express it. And through that development and practice, we open our mouth without fear, because we are in a very safe space. And that's why we have these opportunities to practice where it is safe, and we can dare to be wrong. And because we're learning about what's all happening on our insides as we're communicating it, right? So the more that we practice, the more we start to understand that connection and how it feels. And, when we are feeling a little off kilter and we start to talk, And suddenly our sitter is like, well, I can't really take that. That doesn't make sense to me. We start to realize, oh, I know why, because this is how I felt on my insides, you know? And we start to understand the difference between when we're like truly like, boop, in that alignment versus when we're in our ego and worried about whether we're going to be right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? So all of this confidence that Anthony was talking about and the trust, it's developed through that ongoing practice and letting the logical override go, letting all of the judgment go, the judgment about how we're doing versus how we think so-and-so else is doing, you know, and just really going into it, giving ourselves permission to just be, experience, and grow without those worries. And the thing is, you know, looking back in my own growth, the greatest fears for me, the hardest part was that feeling like I wasn't good enough, or that so-and-so was better, or that I was a little slow on the uptake, or that I, you know, maybe I'm deaf, spiritually deaf, and I don't hear the way so-and-so else hears, you know. It's that comparison that just really can get in our psyche, and just really we start to block ourselves, not meaning it, but we just do, you know.
Sure.
So that trust and that confidence really starts to roll in when we just give ourselves permission just to be. And you know, if we're going to be wrong, we're going to be wrong. But guess what? We're going to start to recognize what it feels like when we're wrong.
Yeah, you start to realize if you're not receiving the information correctly, or you're not perceiving the information to your client correctly, I mean, you're going to know that you've got to go back to spirit. You've got to go back to spirit and wait to go there and ask them, am I hearing this incorrectly? And they're going to say yes, and will tell me what I need to hear correctly. So the no's in your mediumship are so important, because it'll make you go back to spirit and work harder as the medium, because all the information is there in the spirit world. You can't complain that the spirit world's not communicating with you properly. They're there and they are working. All the information's there. It's the medium that's not reaching out to get the answer. What did she say? Thank you so much. I just want to do the best I possibly can for people that come to me. Yeah, well, your integrity. The other thing is, I just want to add this real quick. She does these amazing drawings, which I have seen her do on Facebook. And I'm not on Facebook that much, but I ran across it just recently. And I was just so amazed at the drawings. It's almost like sacred geometry.
Ooh.
And there is messages in that for you, Eleanor, in those drawings. And I know you have the ability to interpret what you're drawing, but I almost feel like the drawings are coming from spirit to give you a message. So
awesome.
You know, like how you read an auric field kind of thing. It has an aura to it. So you'll be able to interpret it. Just keep working on that. That's been given to you for a reason as well. So I'll leave that with you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll leave that with you. Eleanor, thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
I lit up another one of somebody that you know that I don't know. Where is she? Her name was Medium Mary.
Oh, Medium Mari.
Medium Mari. Yeah, Medium Mari. Hi, yes. Medium Mari. If you're still here, let us know. I saw you asked a question somewhere. And I had this real hit on my insides that I just wanted to talk about real quick. Okay, so if she's not here, I'm going to say this anyway. I don't know Medium Mari, but I feel like there is this. Oh, there you are. Hi there. Thank you. Medium Mari, I feel like that there is a real sense of shift within your work. And it feels like there's a real sense of opening up and expansion. And I feel like that it's a very exciting time. I feel like that there is this, it feels to me like you're already in front of quite a few people. There's like I feel like that there's somewhat of an audience with Medium Mari already. And I feel like that it's growing, like it's expanding. There's an expansion happening in a real, like robust, and it's like really exciting, really exciting. And so I just wanted, that's when I saw that go by in the comments, Medium Mari, I felt that on my insides, and I just wanted to reiterate that with you, that it's really beautiful and it's a super exciting time.
Yeah, I see a television show or being invited on a television show real soon. So how exciting for you. That's really great. You know, it's everybody has their time to shine, and it definitely is her time. So
Totally.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's see. I saw Cheryl. Cheryl and Gotti Cruz Durek. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you for being here. Cheryl's grandson is in the hospital. I'm seeing he'll be fine. Do you guys see anything? Well, I'm just going to start with the first thing that I saw as I saw this go through the comments, Anthony. Similar to that hit with Medium Mari, Cheryl, when I saw this go by earlier, when you asked this, my initial hit was that yes, he is going to be fine. But there's a but there, because I feel like that there's a feeling of like, how do I describe this? Like it feels like it's not going to come without some work. I feel like there's a period of time where this healing that he's going through, it feels to me like there's a sense of like, you know, when our loved ones are sick and we see them getting better and we're like, yes, they're getting better. And then all of a sudden they like go backwards. There's this feeling of decline after I'm feeling like I'm getting better, but it feels like it's connected to something else, something other than why he's already there. And so having said that, I just want to reiterate the initial hit. The main point is, yes, he is going to be fine, but there's this feeling of like going downhill again to come back uphill. But then having figured that second part out, it feels like it's okay. Not a doctor, just an FYI reminder. But yeah.
It feels like a misdiagnosis of what's going on.
Yeah.
To me.
Something that just doesn't.
And I'm not claiming to be a doctor either. Always follow with your practitioner, but to me, I feel it will be revealed that there's something else that is going on that's maybe added to it, or to me, it's misdiagnosed and something else is triggering this. That's all I'm going to say about it. You're absolutely right, Jeffrey. I mean, it's like I'm getting better, and then there's some kind of repeat of what's going on now. And it's just, I don't know if it's, I think it's misdiagnosed and maybe the wrong medication for that, for what's going on. That's all I can really tell you. You know, medical stuff is very sensitive when we deal with this stuff as mediums, and we're not claiming to be doctors, but we do get medical information. And always follow up with your doctor afterwards. Don't just take our word for anything. But I've had many clients, and I'm sure you have, Jeffrey, too, because you get those hits where clients will send you an email and say you were absolutely spot on with that information, and my doctor doesn't know how you'd know that. and I always record my sessions because just for liability purposes, but I don't want to be in trouble, but I do want to help people. So I hope that helps you.
Totally. Yeah. I hope that helps you too, Cheryl. Thank you for being here.
Who else do we have here?
Somebody asked back here.
Was Gail asking? I think Gail wanted a reading too. Didn't she want one? Do you see Gail on there?
Gail is, oh yes, Gail Wozniak. Yep. Gail.
Okay.
Went to Cleveland Clinic for constant dizziness going on for years. After 42 doctor visits in Michigan, I got no help. Will Dr. Basim help me?
Okay. Dizziness. Well, let's see. As I first step into your energy, Gail, I get the impression that besides the dizziness, you do have problems with balance. So, trying to stay balanced while doing activities. And you must have fallen a couple times in regards to what's going on. I feel that I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting as an impression. And as an emotional impression, I feel it's an emotional attachment to some degree with you. There is a few people here in spirit that you have not been able to really let go of. It's been so tragic for you with them, crossing over to the spirit world. And, I think it's important for you to know that they're doing absolutely wonderful. And that, when we cross over to the spirit world, we don't have pain and we don't have, all of that emotional stuff that we had when we were here in the physical world, because there's a greater awareness, first of all, and second of all, our physical body, we leave our physical body here. But, you're learning and growing in the spirit world, and you're beginning to, see the domino effect of your life and see the things that you need to work on in the spirit world. And it's part of the healing process for some of us that cross over. And I just want you to know they want you to be happy and not be living in that repeated sadness, the repeated sadness part of their lives that you're constantly revisiting. They want you to think of them when they were at their whole and their best, their love and their light, and when they were healthy and fun and loving, and remember those memories versus the traumatic part of their passing. So it's important for you to know this. I feel that a lot of your life is held back because of the passing of these two particular people. I almost feel one could be a son, and I also feel your mom. So just know that they want you to be living happily going forward, and know that they are doing absolutely great over here. Okay. So I do feel that there's some kind of emotional part to it.
I feel that too. Yeah. Gail, would you please let us know in the comments if this resonates with you? I do. I feel like a sadness or depression that I like really, really struggle with. And I know this, I've struggled with depression and anxiety my entire life. But I feel this emotional piece to it as well. But I want to go back to your initial question. But they're not mutually exclusive, or they're connected is how I want to describe this. So will Dr. Basim help you? I want to encourage you to go into it with as much optimism as you can find in your very core. Go in with inviting your guides, your guardians, your mother, get everybody to go with you and that support. feel that support when you're in there. I do feel like Dr. Basim may have, I don't feel like he's going to have an answer for you right away, but I feel like that he will be the one to lead you to the right answer. But that answer is not going to be your sole and separate answer, because part of this feels to me like it's also work that you need to do for yourself, really going in and sitting with that grief, acknowledging that grief, accepting that grief. Grief is a horrible, horrible, horrible feeling for every single one of us, and it never goes away. But what happens is through time, we start to grow and we start to get stronger. The more work we do on our insides, the more we start to build that connection with spirit, source, creator, our loved ones, our guides, our guardians. We start to grow around that grief, right? And I feel like I really want to remind you that spirit has been like knocking on your doors and your windows and really like getting your attention, asking for you to create that open dialogue and to really like go deep with spirit and start to really do that inner work and that inner healing. That inner work and that inner healing comes with a lot of compassion, grace, forgiveness for ourselves, for others, for ourselves, where we, we might feel like we're not where we should be because we woulda, coulda, and shoulda ourselves to death, and that's where compassion falls in. And that's where we give ourselves grace and say, you know what, I am where I'm supposed to be at this very moment. And spirit is here with you. Your mother is here with you. And you're being led to Dr. Basim for a reason.
I also feel too that he is a natural medicine doctor, but also relates to Western medicine as well. So that's a good correlation of, looking into the emotional aspect of what's going on in her life and correlating with some of the, I almost feel it's not just the dizziness. There's something else that is, there's two different things going on here simultaneously is what I just heard. And I almost not only besides the scattered, there must be times that you're feeling disoriented, where you've got too much in your mind, where you're over analyzing all the things that you have to do, and not being able to do them is making you disoriented because it's creating anxiety, so that too will create dizziness, having excessive anxiety. So you might want to just keep that in mind when you go in for the appointment. Okay. So I hope that helps you, Gail.
Thank you, Gail. Everybody send Gail a little bit extra love. She needs our love and support and hugs and energetic hugs and all of that for her as she moves through this, as well as Bonnie and Cheryl and her grandson.
I'll be interested to see what they have to say.
Yeah. All right, you guys, you know what? We're 15 minutes past what we normally do. And I'm so happy to be here doing this with you, Anthony. I mean, the time just flew by.
It always does in spirit, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's no time there.
Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. Gail, don't go anywhere. Jen on Instagram just says, she says, Jeff, as y'all are reading for Gail, I keep seeing a bunch of tiny yellow flowers, and it's reminding me of chamomile and a connection to tea. So thank you, Jen. Thank you for that message. Gail, I hope that rings a bell with you. And maybe, if anything, make yourself a glass of chamomile tea.
might be able to just calm you down, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
Very calming,
very calming.
peaceful. So, all right, you guys, I love you all to smithereens. Thank you all so much for being here. I know you all have a billion places your attention can be put, and the fact that you're here with us just means the world. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for joining us, everyone. It's been great. And I think Jeffrey's great, don't you? So I just want to applaud you. And thank you, Jeffrey, for having me on the show.
You're
It's
very
been
welcome.
always a pleasure. It's and we have Jeffrey and I have a lot in common. So we've actually studied with a lot of the same mentors and
Yeah.
you know, well, people that we consider mentors. You actually
Yeah.
do mentorship. So but yeah, we have a lot in common, which is great.
Yeah. So you'll come back, right? You'll come back.
I would love to.
Play with us again.
Just shoot me a line. I'll be here.
All right.
Maybe we could just focus strictly on readings and, you know, skip the.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I would definitely love that.
You know, maybe
yeah,
just get into readings and because people love to, you know, have that connection.
Absolutely. Let's do that. Let's set that up. We'll set that up when we hang up here. Guys, next week I have Cheryl Murphy with us. You know, Cheryl Murphy is another repeat. We just love Cheryl Murphy. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday, same time, same place. Anthony, thank you so much. We're gonna put a date in the calendar when we're done here.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.